Nolan, I'm going to do just a quick review on the changes you made in your chipping technique. On the left was the video I took of your chipping technique before I started making some adjustments, and on the right is when we made some corrections. You can see how your weight is kind of hanging back on that back foot. You're just a little bit closer to the red line on your back leg than you are your front leg. And so one of the things I changed was I got you to hit the ball more from a position of being on your left side. And I had you start with more weight on your left side to begin with. The other thing that did is it allowed you to have a little bit more shaft lean and put your hands in front of the ball, which helps you bump down into the golf ball and have a better chipping action. Here you're at impact. On the left, you're hanging back just a little bit. You're not on that front leg. This leg is kind of almost angling backwards. And with your new setup, your hands are in front of your foot. Your left arm is in front of the leg. Everything looks so much better here. As I continue your swing, you'll see yourself almost falling backwards as you follow through, kind of hanging back. And on this swing, you stay pressed forward as you come through. Much better. And you also keep your head down better. So that's a great improvement that you've made in your technique for chipping the ball. I like to start my reviews at the impact position. It's the most important. Everything the golf ball does is a direct response to the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. The ball's on the face of the club a fraction of a second, and the club's position is what determines ball flight. The body's position at impact is what determines the club's position. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. One of the most important objectives of impact is to make sure that you're hitting down into the golf ball when the ball is on the ground. So with this iron, the pros are swinging down into the golf ball. In order to do that, they want to make sure that the low point of their golf swing is in front of the golf ball. So Grant is swinging down into the golf ball, and his low point is in front of the ball. He achieves that low point position by two main things. One is he makes sure that his maximum amount of his body weight is on the left side at impact. You can see how that red line is passing right through his belt buckle. 85% of his weight is on the left side at impact. That helps him keep the low point in front of the golf ball. Also, his hands are in front of the golf ball when he strikes the ball. That allows him to hit down into the golf ball. You can see his hands are right on that line. You have an excellent impact position. You have most of your weight on your left side, and your hands are on top of your left foot. So you already have a very solid foundation and a solid impact position. Now we're going to look at the other positions prior to impact. We're in the one position, and you have a very good one position. Grant has a little more weight on his left side at address than he does his right side, and so do you. You can see how Grant's left hip is just across that left line, red line, and so is yours. So you're in a very good position there. The main thing that we're going to work on right now, and we need to build your swing in pieces. We don't want to try to pile on too many changes at once, so we're going to kind of go slow, but we are going to be working on improving your swing every time we meet. And the first thing we're going to focus on is your grip. It's going to be important that we get your hands comfortably on that grip as soon as we can. I think you can see how far under your right hand is right there. And you made some really good progress toward the end of our session when you were hitting the driver. And you saw the correlation between that right hand and ball flight. You saw by adjusting the grip on the handle of the shaft, you could affect ball flight. With this grip, you were hitting your driver low and left. And then when you made that change, you started hitting it much higher, sometimes to the right, but sometimes it was a perfect little high draw. So we need to custom fit the grip to fit your swing. So we're going to have to continue to experiment with different rotational positions until we find the one that seems to be the best for you to get the most consistent ball flight. This is the 3 position. This is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. And if we look at Grant, as he has taken the club back by turning to the right, he has maintained his weight on his left side. So he's not falling to the right or leaning to the right, he's simply turning to the right. He's coiling his body, but he's coiling around a fixed left leg. You're making a good turn as well, but you have moved a little bit more to the right than you started, but it's not too bad. I might want to widen your stance a little bit, not much, but I'm talking maybe an inch, no more than 2 inches. But it looks like your stance is maybe a little too narrow in order to make a good athletic swing. One of the main sources of power and club head speed comes out of the wrist hinge and how we load our hands in the backswing. You can see how Grant has hinged his wrist up, and he almost has a right angle. By the time his left arm gets parallel to the ground, his shaft is almost straight up in the air. And you are still in the process of hinging your wrist, but you have not completed that yet. And so you're a little bit behind the load. A lot of that is because of your grip. And when we continue to work on your grip, you will be in a better position to properly hinge your wrist and load your wrist better. Here we are at the top of the backswing, the 4 position. You're in a pretty good position here. You are still a little bit on the right side, but that's once we fix the 3 position, the 4 position will be better, so we don't need to, that correction is not made in the 4 position, but is made in the 3 position. Grant is solidly on his left side. His left knee is right on that red line. You've kind of rocked back into your right leg a little too much. And that moved your low point of your golf circle behind the golf ball, and now you've got to move your golf circle back up to the ball before you hit it, and that can cause inconsistency as you move your circle around. This is the 9th position. This is when your right arm is parallel to the ground on the follow through, and you really have a good position here. I really like your right arm is straight. In fact, both arms are extended. You've turned your chest towards the target. Your hips are turning towards the target as well. And here's the final position, and you have a nice classic pro pose. You're facing the target. Your left leg is extended. Eyes looking over your arm. You're off the back foot. Going forward, I think the main thing that we focus on, and I reviewed a lot of different things as I looked at your swing, but I want to focus now on just the 1 or 2 things that you need to work on. We don't want to work on 5 things. I need you to get comfortable with the new grip. And the next time we meet, we're going to fine-tune that grip a little bit more. And then I want to make sure your starting position, your setup, is just absolutely perfect. And then we're going to do some drills going from 1 to 3, so that the takeaway, as you take the club back and go to the 3 position, that's when the left arm is parallel, just kind of the halfway back position, that you're going to get into a really good 3 position. And I'll be looking for 2 things. One, when you're in the 3 position, you do not move to the right, but you stay solid on top of your left leg as you rotate to the right. And the second thing is that you hinge your wrist a little bit more effectively so that you're loading your hands in order to have a good release of the club